Oh, hey, dreamer.
Oh, hi, dreamer.
You are the foundress of that phrase. You
Oh,
have the
hey,
copy.
dreamer.
You have the copyright, and I share it with you.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
right.
That's right.
Trademark that shit.
Hello, dreamers.
What's up, dreamers?
Welcome to Dreamer Headquarters with your two favorite dreamfluencers. You
Oh,
like that? I came up with it last night. It's good.
oh,
I've been waiting. I didn't
wow.
want to tell you yet because I want to see you live.
Secret?
I want to see you with your two favorite dreamfluencers, Sage and May.
We're over here.
We are here. Come join us as you cleanse your palate and
Hmm.
join the Dreamer Rebellion. Why? Why, Sage? Because the world has gone.
The world has gone batshit bananas, and we're still here. And there's still a chance for us.
Mhm, mhm.
Damn
Yep,
it.
damn it. We will make the chance. Oh,
Yes. We
yes.
still have an opportunity for something or another.
Yeah.
I
So
believe it.
I'll believe it. I believe it too. And you know what? I've noticed lately that things are getting so is irrational the word I'm looking for?
That would be a
So
good word to use.
like um what's the word when you're just like this is just gone bonkers banana? Like a word for that you're just like,
Yeah.
you know?
It's mind-boggling.
And
It
so that because we're so in that,
mhm.
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's tragic hilarious. Is this what
Tragical
it
comedy.
tragical? Is this what a it's a dramedy?
It's a dramedy.
I
Yeah.
find myself both being like and just laughing
Yeah.
at a lot. It's the shenanigans are so absurd,
Yeah.
absurd,
Yeah.
Abs-
Perplexing.
perplexing.
Yeah.
It's absurd. It's perplexing. It's bonkers, batshit crazy,
Yeah. Bananas.
bananas, and yeah.
It's all very accurate. Very
But
accurate.
but here we are in the dream space. Dreaming the real dream. Two rebels with a cause. Era
Yeah.
of the dreamers.
That's right. Yeah.
Why do we do this, Sage? And I want sassy Sage.
Sassy
The
sage.
sassiest
Well,
stages.
because we're the type of broads
Mhm,
that
mhm.
are in creation, in movements, in possibility, in joy, despite the absurd, despite some of the dark pieces, right? And so we consistently choose. That's who we be in the world. So it makes so much sense that in these times that you and I are like looking at each other like we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna continue to do our thing. And we have chosen to continue to do our thing. And so we've made this commitment with each other because we are in a co-creationship, and we have made this commitment to show up with each other and to share our hearts and to share our joys and to share the reality and the rawness and the realness and to invite this idea of like dreaming and possibility because we think shit still matters. And it's like, that's why we do this.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Hmm. Quotable moment.
Yeah. And then we invite our dear listeners to play along however they see fit in their lives.
Yeah. 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 That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
question. Yeah. Hey, good question.
So, quick recap. Sage and I have been through the depths of hell and back simultaneously because why not?
It's true.
Uh, it's true, true story. We were so in it in the thick, dense fog, mud, poo,
So much poo.
Bog. It was smelly. It was sticky. Um, and we somehow trudged through it. And I would love to hear two things that you still did for yourself
Mm.
through that time that helped you somehow bob up to the surface of the depths of despair. And this is real. Like we're joking around because it's what we do.
Yeah.
We bring the dramedy to life for
Yeah.
real. But this is like we were both,
Like last weekend,
yes, like
like
last
5 days
weekend.
ago.
Yeah, like I would say
It was
from
bad.
mid last week through
Mhm.
Monday. Is that accurate for you?
Yeah, mine hit Friday.
Okay.
I remember like wrapping up my day and being like, ooh, like I could
Mm,
feel it in my body. I was like, yikes.
yeah.
And then my whole weekend into the beginning of this week, I was just like, okay, this is where we're at right now.
Yeah. And I'm genuinely curious for those listening, watching, if
Hmm.
you felt any of this too. Because I think there's a lot of moments when that's just a common experience. And there's so much that we're like
Yeah.
moving through and shifting. And I found it really interesting that and put a pin on your two things because I really do want to hear
Yeah.
them and share
Mhm.
mine. Um, that we did that Ding Dong Done episode. And we were both like, there was like, I was fired up. I literally started in the first 10 seconds with like F bombs and
Yeah,
sending
you were
everybody to
ready.
hell. And I was like, wait a minute, not everybody. Afterwards, I was like, oh, wow, that was intense. I was like, there's a select few people that I do not want to send to hell, but it's a tiny, you just flicked them. Like, I want to definitely flick them off my hand.
Yeah,
A whole bunch.
totally.
But there is a sacred few that I'm like, no, 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 no.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So afterwards I was
Yeah.
like, oh. But then I was like, no, but I'm just being honest, so I'm not gonna censor myself.
No, God, no.
And I found it interesting that we went there. That episode was so potent.
Hmm.
And after I watched the reel of it, which go to Instagram, watch that like minute, 20 seconds if you're listening and you just even that moment, even though we did the whole episode, as I was editing the reel and listening to it again and again, and a lot of it was your invitation, like what the things you were sharing, because I asked you, like, how do you know? And how do we, to talk about when something is donezo, the teat has been squeezed dry, and that could be good for a teacher. Anywho, I digress. I'm
Don't
always
take
think
that idea.
I'm always think, don't. I'm always thinking of merch ideas. So is Sage. We would have a merch empire. Maybe we should.
I'm ready.
We're ready. Okay. So blah, 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 blah.
Reel us back in.
Bears back in. It's the caffeine. Sets me wild. Uh, so we did that potent episode, and I was going through myself like, oh shit. Like, you talk about it and you're like, oh yeah, I know there's still
Yeah.
work to do. Always, always. But
Hmm.
it really put me up against it. Like, where am I not really honoring and listening to my intuition about things like that and having the guts? I was like, damn, that takes a lot of guts,
Yeah.
which I know, but it was like another layer deeper, which is classic for this kind of work. You just,
Mhm.
once you sign up for this and you sign that universal soul contract, hey,
You
you
put your
work,
John Hancock on
you
there.
put your John Hancock on it. Your Hancock.
Yeah,
I
Hancock.
just like saying Hancock. Get ready.
Yeah, you're in.
Get ready. And it's great. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Same.
But damn,
Yeah, it got bad.
it got bad. We went, is that why we went into the depths?
I mean, it all makes sense. Looking back, now that we've got some perspective, we came in hot, right? We're like ding dong done energy, a little bit of this energy, and then like with any release though, there's the feelings. And I write a little bit about this in my newsletter that's coming out next week, there's this
Oh,
period.
plug it, baby.
It's just a
Yeah.
smidge. It's just a smidge. But
Newsletter.
there's a pause, though. There's a moment of time between here and here, right? Between the release and the purge, and then the stepping into what's next. There is this space. And I think that was the space we were in of that. Just because you say it so doesn't always mean that those energetic things have also said it so, right? They're also on their own journey. And so for me, I felt like I did a lot of like purging, releasing, but then the aftermath. It's like the afterbirth. It's like what comes after the birth. It's like there's still something else that comes. There's a process here. And so that's what I felt. And then it came so big, I felt depression. And I am someone who's been diagnosed with like chronic depression. So it's just something that it's like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm a little depressy. But when I say it in that way, it's like I feel it's not really interrupting me. I think I'm a pretty high functioning person with depression and anxiety. Not saying that to like wear it as a badge and honor. I truly think it's a trauma response. So I just want to say that out loud. Um, but so for me to like be in the depression is like, whoa, like it was heaviness. I felt like I was wearing a cloak of heaviness. It was a lot of bed rotting over the weekend of just being and existing as a human. So I don't know how the fuck I just got there with my story, but that's where I ended up.
Because that's where we're going. That's where
Okay.
we're like we're rewinding.
I
We
was like,
gotta
I
tell
kind of
it.
traveled.
You know what? We gotta tell it step by step because one
Yeah.
of the things we've read in comments and people that have
Mhm.
but shout out to all the beautiful comments we've received. Keep it coming because yes,
They're really good. They're
it's
really
yeah,
good.
they're really good. They really truly inspire us and
Yeah.
we
Soul food.
we treasure them and it gives us this like, all right, like like one of our listeners was sharing, keep going there, she said in a
Yes.
message she left in our on our Instagram on Air of the
Yeah.
Dreamers. She said, I'm sharing your episode with my friends, that especially specifically that one.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you guys said so many things that landed, and
Mm-hmm.
please keep going there. And that for me is like, all
Okay.
right, because
Yeah.
I know that when I'm listen to someone who has the ovaries to go there, wherever there is that's in my like
Yeah.
that I'm ready to pop from,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that we're like, mincing this into finer pieces.
Yeah.
You also felt physical symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
You were dizzy, you were nauseous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of that is par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
I am also like clinical depression, anxiety have been part of my story since I was very young. The first time I got diagnosed, I was a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So it is absolutely part of my story. And I know when I am depressy and when I am depressed. And I was depressed. And I remember writing to you saying, I haven't felt properly like depressed for some time. The last time I felt this way was in, let's say, like August of last year. I had a really, really difficult period, readjusted my medication with my psychiatrist. And then it was like, all right, things were above water. And this weekend, I hit it hard. And then things found their way. Everything you said, it was like coming out.
Mm-hmm.
There's this I guess the honesty of the thing,
Mm-hmm.
like exactly what you said, like, oh, we'll talk about it, ding dong done, but then you're confronting it.
Yeah.
And when you are available to the thing that wants to change, like available to the transformational, that sounds so like, you know, uh whatever, buzzy,
Mm-hmm.
but think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You become available to the transformation. You're like, your tendrils are open. You have taken off the armor. Then get ready. And then on the other side,
Yeah. Yeah.
We're now start like we saw I feel like I started to see the light, like a little pinprick of light on Monday,
Hmm.
tiny, and then it grew a little bit more on Tuesday,
Hmm.
Wednesday, and I'm like baby deer legs. Like that little wobbly, like, you're just gonna
Yeah, they're a little shaky.
take it easy. I'm not gonna jump on the deep end. I'm just gonna
Right,
like,
right.
but I
That's
can say that I feel, and I had a check-in with my psychiatrist
mm,
yesterday, and I'm gonna talk to my therapist today.
yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
I'm like covering my bases,
Hmm.
and I know that and I feel that with you as well, and we've
Hmm.
shared it.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and I think, here's what I want to say is sometimes I love that we're sharing so transparently about the process. I think that's so important because I think there are folks who share and you only see one of the pieces. And then it's easy to not understand, well, why isn't it that easy for me? Like, look at that person. And I think sometimes I have had people create stories about me of like, oh, you're so strong and look at you, like you keep showing back up. And it's like, yeah, but there's always another side though. You just don't, you're not living with me 24/7. Like you're walking the next to me on my life journey. And it's like, yes, I present myself very authentic. And I also have those downtimes because I'm a human being. And I want to say that, like, don't let those dark pieces stop you from doing this kind of work because there is another side to it, right? Like MA and I are now on this other side. We might have the wobbly legs, but we are on the other side of the bulk of it. And so when I speak a lot about we have a choice here, I have a choice to face the thing. I have a choice to release. I have a choice to say this is ding dong done, knowing that there's an aftermath that I'm going to experience and then it's going to move through me and then that piece is done. That thread
Yeah.
has been cut and it's done and I'm on to the next. So
Yeah.
I just want to say like don't let it stop you. We've talked about how there's going to be discomfort no matter what choices you make in life. I'd rather go through the discomfort knowing there's another side that I'm going to move on to and that I'm healing and in movement. That to me is the whole point of this. There's never an end of this. This is
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, it's totally like cyclical, 100%. And I'll say that even saying that and knowing that and trusting that, this time kind of caught me by surprise a little bit.
Same.
Um, it was it was interesting because it caught me kind of like by surprise. But I could sort of mind back and understand, but I was also in such a dull place, like my brain was just dull that I was also like, I don't care. I get zero motivation.
Mhm.
Like my house reflected what was going on in my system. The way I was there's so many things. And I was really, because I've been there before so many times and I know the feeling, and I'll remind myself of what it feels like on the other side. There's a release
Mhm.
and there's certain things that I will tend to and in myself, but mostly just have the grace to, you know, to
Yeah.
to to be with it and to really just like not hide it, not um try as much as I can to not distract myself too much, which of course I do. I totally do.
Mhm.
But also become available to it. Um and it's certainly not going to be the last time.
No, no, it's
I
not.
mean, there's plenty more where that came from. It
Yeah.
feels to me like you're holding, like you've been hiking for a while with a certain backpack and it's gotten heavier and heavier and heavier.
Mhm.
And you and I, because we'll do this, and I really do believe that this podcast is part of that process for
Mhm.
us and whoever wants to tap in. There's an
Totally.
energy of like all of a sudden we pick like a thread that comes in very intuitively. And it's like okay, we're gonna like dig in that hole. There's like a little flag there. We're going in there.
Yeah.
And so we do, and then it means like, oh shoot, like this thing, this heavy backpack that I was carrying, this super heavy, filled with bricks that I was just like, all right, I gotta let this go.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, am I willing to let it go? Okay, I'm gonna let it go. Maybe I pick it back up because I'm like not really sure. Like I
Mhm.
grieve that I've let it go. It feels weird. It feels,
Yeah.
and all of that. Remember we felt like we were like astronauts. Well, you said it first, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
I forgot
I
about
felt
that.
like we were astronauts. And think about the feeling of letting go of something super heavy, and
Yeah.
then how you feel like
There's that weight
weird.
is lifted.
Yes, you feel like I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
There's so much of that because then you're walking away on the trail and I'm still feeling that backpack, which was a part of my body, my energy
Hmm.
for many miles as I was hiking along. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to leave it there.
Hmm.
And it's going to be like transmuted by Mother Earth, you know? It's going
Yeah.
to disintegrate eventually. But as I'm walking past it, I'm like looking back, like, oh, that period until I'm like, oh, okay, I don't need that backpack.
Yeah.
Whatever was in it is no longer necessary.
Hmm.
Girl,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, all my nerves are like buzzing because it feels so true.
Hmm.
Um, and I think ultimately, the less weight we carry of all of these things, the more free we become and the more self-sustaining we become. And it can feel very jarring to walk alone without the weight.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you need that integration moment where you were carrying so much, it's been released, or part of it's been released, and now you're trying to adjust to, okay, this is where I'm at now, and ground into how does my body feel now. And it's just like this constant almost like shedding and tapping into the new, not that you're a new person, but almost like this next growth
Yeah.
piece. I don't
Yeah.
really have language for it, but um yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like for me. It's like, okay, that happened. And I feel like I've learned that it's really supportive for me and my mental health, my physical health, to not just push through, not distract, avoid, but just actually be in it. And I do some thinking. I do some big thinking when I'm in those places of, huh, okay. I, again, with being a lifelong depressier, like I understand sometimes it just pops, right? There's like the formula happens and then it just pops and you're in it. I totally get that. But this time I was able to actually like see the triggers, like, oh, this happened. And then this, and then this, and then this. Oh. And it was like, it all becomes clear of like, of course, that weekend became like so much and so big.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like collecting the pieces. And sometimes there's no pieces to collect. You just feel the way you feel. And that's real
Mhm.
too. But this time I was actually able to see the path that brought me there. And so my takeaway is just deeper understanding of what my triggers are, deeper understanding of like, okay, so how could I not trigger my fear? How could it like mindfully do it, right? Like, what do I have control of in this moment? What don't I have control of in this moment? And like the pieces that I can hold on to, like what can I do to support that fear that I'm holding around that? Because it's not a fear that I think is ever going to go away. And so I'm just trying to make friends with it instead of trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. And then watch life like give you certain experiences and moments while you're in it. I'm not going to name any names, but
Yeah, that
So
happened.
you had a big one. And
I had a big one.
I I don't know that I had like as specific of a one as you did, but well, I kind of did. And not that specific. Yours was really good. But it will like, oh, show you. Almost like, okay, now you're gonna take the test,
Yeah.
right? And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. I passed it. Or
Yeah.
I went through whatever, like the shakiness, and then it was like, oh, I feel like it all these moments expand my capacity to withstand.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of things just kind of flow through and not hit me and poke at me.
It's really wild.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just like, if you would have asked me like on Saturday if I thought it was beautiful, I'd be like, fuck you.
Oh yeah.
But Thursday Sage is like there's when you have the ability to like be on the other side of it and you can
Mhm.
kind of look at the journey that you took in just a mere week and you see like how massively things have shifted. Like there's something beautiful about like really understanding that's life. Like that is life and not to try to swim against it, but there is a surrender, there is a flow if you allow it, and it's not distracting and avoiding, and it's like when you have those moments, it is really beautiful
Mhm.
in its weird fucked up way.
Look at us now.
Look at us growing and going. Still laughing, still drinking
Wow.
coffee.
Still drinking coffee. So now that we've gone into the depths, excuse me, Cosmo. My cat is on my project. Come on, cat. All right. Wait.
Cosmo.
So we're gonna do a little intermission before the next
Okay.
session.
Okay.
Because stay tuned, because in part two of this podcast, we are going to, I feel like we should talk then about, okay, so all of that happened.
Okay.
The product, the consequence of it is that then you probably are going to feel different than other people and like it harder to connect with anybody that is not in that uh authentic, vulnerable, open space. It feels very jarring.
When you take your spacesuit off and
You do like your reentry, you come back to Earth. Right, right. It's so good.
yeah,
You land back and you're like, oh, okay,
yeah,
this
I'm
feels good.
back.
And then you start interacting with the people,
And it's weird.
and it's weird. And you said something right before starting our recording about what's behind the curtain, like the person in front of the curtain and their version behind the curtain.
For sure.
So we're going to talk about that. But first,
Okay, what's happening?
where's a new segment I'd like to call Fast Thoughts with Sassy Sage. Okay, so this is how this is going to work.
Okay.
I thought about it on my morning walk today.
Woo.
I have 10 pieces of paper here,
Okay.
each have a word. I'm going to say the word, and you need to tell me the first thing that comes up. And if the first thing that comes up is too obvious, then you got to tell me the second thing.
Okay.
And it's got to
Okay,
be
this is fun.
it's got to
I
be
like
Sassy
games. I
Sage.
like games.
I know, right? This was me. Okay, I love that you said that because I'm walking around and I was like, oh, I think that I did. I was like, oh, I really like games. I literally told myself out loud as I'm walking, I
I
really
love
like
that.
games.
This is fun.
And
Okay.
there was a time, real talk,
Okay.
when I wanted to be perceived as such a serious, I got it all together person
Hmm.
that I loved games, but playing games was not. No,
You denied
come
yourself the
on.
game
But
playing?
I always loved spending time with kids, way more than spending time with adults. Let's be real, please. Come on.
Always,
This is
forever.
why you and I love each other so much because we're like two
Yeah.
children. But we are, but now, okay, so the paradox is we're so much wiser But we're also like, because we're freer,
Mhm.
we're like, it's playtime, right?
Duh.
It's so good. And then we cry and then we laugh and then we,
We're
all right,
depressed.
all right. And
We're
we're
back.
depressed.
Okay.
And
Here
all
we
right,
are.
here we are. All right. 3, 2, and ice balls.
Laughter. Is that too?
Writing,
Writing. Visibility.
visibility. I heard disability. I'm sorry. I was like, she said visibility.
Visibility with a V.
Be the V. Plot twist.
Uh-oh.
Boundaries.
That's right. Bitch. My bad. Okay, can I get a do-over?
Yes. Yes, please.
I'm all right. That's right. Boundaries. Don't step. Don't step on them
Anxiety. Anxiety.
every day.
All right. Got 3 more.
Okay.
Owl. Ooh, ooh. Your owl is like, he's
My owl has had a lot of coffee.
he's got a certain personality there. All right, next one. Cackling.
Witches.
Ooh. That was a good response. I was wondering what you were going to say about that one. And last but not least, rebel.
Freedom. That was fun.
Hmm.
I
Okay,
like
now you get to do it one for me next time.
that. Okay, deal.
Deal. Because I want
That
to
was
play
so fun.
too.
Oh my God, that was so
Right? Yeah,
fun.
that was so fun. All right. And now for the continuation of Era of the Dreamers, the podcast.
Take two. Part two.
So,
Oh,
Sage,
yes.
how I was going to say how do we feel about a person who has 2 different personas, but that really doesn't seem fair. I want to be very like transparent here because I that feels to me like a judgmental thing, which you know, we don't want to do. I'm not going to say we're not going to do. We'd rather not.
That's right.
So
Yes.
no, but
Okay.
because I think because it's always about our choice, I think we should present it in the context of our experience with, quite frankly, the majority of people around us that not their fault,
No.
but they are, most people are living these dual lives.
Right.
And because I was thinking about this before it came up
Mm-hmm.
today, and I found it interesting because it came up when you brought it up before we started recording when we were having our little chat, and I had thought about it in the context of bringing it up in this podcast, and here is where I was coming from. I've I've suffered from having yearning to connect with people at a deeper level. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even mean we got to go have the deep conversations,
Mm-hmm.
but I've suffered from people that I felt I wasn't able to connect with
Mm-hmm.
their their true person. And it's hard, it's getting more and more challenging for me to I've done a lot of grieving around people in my life that I would have loved to hold a different kind of relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even have to be that deep. It doesn't mean we got to be BFFs now. We got to like tell each other all our secrets. No, I'm talking about just I I think you're an incredible human being and I'd love to have a certain different kind of access to each other, to your heart. But people are so guarded.
Yeah.
And I'm it's totally me once upon a time, completely me once upon a time, guarded because I was scared, because I didn't want people to judge me, because I wanted to be perceived a certain way. et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I get it. So I'm navigating. Okay, well, the types of people that I find I'm able to have that access to are very few.
Hmm.
And it's felt painful. And I would like to reconstruct that story. Because I feel like I'm having these maybe unfair expectations of
Mm,
people.
that's interesting. Yeah.
And again, I don't think that it's like, I'm asking like so much. Like, it's just,
Hmm.
or sometimes I feel like I'm getting like close to someone who's been in my life for a while, and we have a moment when we're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I see the true you.
Hmm.
And then they will like recoil back and like, and then they will sort
Yeah.
of like create space.
Hmm.
And my take is because am, I want to be really available with my, who I am.
Yeah.
I think that truth probably triggers other people just because it's like uncomfortable, the vulnerability of it. There's
Yeah.
something about it that then like, okay, you recoil back.
Hmm.
And then they kind of become even more distant. And I can think at least right now, I have three women in particular, um, that I've really, really struggled with that. And it hurts. Like it hurts.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, just cracked open some deep shit.
Yeah. And I've been navigating through that. And I've gone through so many layers of like, I don't understand it. And it makes me sad. It makes me frustrated. It makes me angry. It makes me resentful, like over a few years.
Yeah.
And it feels confusing, and it feels like, um, what portion, what part of me? And then there's this whole, most of it makes you feel, I don't necessarily feel that way as much, but most of it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because like the first layers, it's like there's something wrong with me, there's some way that I'm not showing up for this person or whatever. But then when you've tried on sort of different things, and you've
Mhm.
opened yourself up, and you're just like, hey, there comes a point where it's just like, I don't think it's going to happen. And that person's still like around you in your life.
Mhm.
And it's been heavy. I guess even heavier than I thought, now that I'm like
Yeah.
bleh, vomiting it out.
Yeah.
Oh, that felt good.
Yeah. I really I understand. And I find that I'm so willing to do my own work and healing. And I don't like, I just feel like I'm in the minority of that sometimes, like where a, a lot of other folks would rather choose to not go there, and that's totally their choice. I'm not ever judging someone because they're not choosing to do the work, right? But as someone who does do it, I find that I don't have the capacity to be in space with people who aren't doing it.
Yeah.
And saying it out loud is like, oh my God, she's thinks highly of herself and doesn't want to associate with people not doing their work. But it's like when you go through the blood, sweat, and tears of doing your personal growth, it is really hard for me to sit in space with people sitting in their own shit. I'm just going to say it out loud. I've been trying to be tender about it over here and like not say it in a way that made me look like a bad person, but I'm just going to own how I feel. And that's what it feels like. Is like I don't have the capacity to be with people sitting in their own shit when they have the capability of getting out of that shit. I just don't. And so I have chosen to have less intimate relationships in my life because I do I do want to hold people high. And I don't want to give my energy to people who aren't playing on the same playing field that I am. And if that makes me wrong, or if that makes me whatever, insert word, I guess I'm just going to own it, because I'm not going to stop doing my own work and stop holding myself high. Um, and I want to play with people who are playing that game too. There's all different kinds of games. There's Battleship and Candyland and Life. There's all kinds of games. And I just want to play the game that I'm playing with other people who want to play that game too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying other games are wrong or bad, but that's where I'm at. And so it is hurtful sometimes when you see possibility with people and connections, and then something happens sometimes where you recognize, like, oh, we're actually not playing the same game. And so then I
Mhm.
asked myself, well, can you not coexist with people playing different games? Like, I coach myself. I don't just like say, I'm right, I'm self-righteous, everything I say is the way it is. Like, I'm always asking myself, because I want to be the best human that I can be. And so that's not, I want to be open. And so yes, I can coexist, and I do coexist with people playing other games, but I find it challenging to go deeper with them and to build trust and intimacy with them. So there still is a gap of like where I can be with people.
Yeah.
Does any of that make sense?
It absolutely does. I think the coexisting, because I, coexisting, and we talked about this in the last episode, the idea of being kind
Mm-hmm.
and living in community and connecting with people in that way. But for me, again, it goes back to there's another layer that I know we can't access.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think for me, going back to the repercussions of the thing we opened with the last episode, Ding Dong Dong, part of it was like, oh, being done with my experience of that really suffering and feeling like over those uh, relationships that would never flourish into what
Mm-hmm.
would feel like, oh, we're connected beyond. And for me, like, it's interesting because you were saying, when someone, isn't, let's say, willing, they're sort of in the shit, right? And they know it, and they're not, something stopping them from doing the work, the messy work of really looking and getting out of it, which is the stuff you and I are doing all the time. For me, the experiences are a lot of times with people that are just very much plugged into the sort of mundane and they're playing in the game of mundane life. And that was me, 5 years ago. Let's call it what it is. That was me 6 years ago. When I look back and I tap into who I've always been, that's been like a through line. I just didn't have the access to becoming that version of myself because it was yet to like materialize. Like if I didn't, I don't know if I thought that was possible, but I yearned for it to
Mm-hmm.
feel like the way I feel now. But I've always had trouble connecting with people, and I overworked myself many times to connect with people in a variety of different circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, now I'm looking back at like childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, and I'm like, oh, okay. So people that are so plugged into the mundane, and that sort of like takes 98% of their energy,
Mm-hmm.
all the regular day-to-day stuff. And they don't want to open up the percentage of time that they spent in sort of this very delicious, messy human inquiry of like, what the fuck is this all for? And
Right.
oh my gosh. And also that's filled with possibility. And there's so many reasons why somebody can be in that space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's been such a challenge. It's gotten, and like I said, it's gotten sort of harder and harder. And so I have to have more and more acceptance around that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so there's the people that are like in their stuff and aren't willing to come out. They like keep feeding off of that. And then there's people that are just kind of not even aware. And I will tell you a word that's been coming up for me that I've been working on since I got out of the dark hump is this idea of like gaslighting, like being gaslit, which essentially is, someone is basically manipulating you into thinking something that wasn't your thought originally, but they're basically trying to have you think something that isn't yours.
Mhm.
It's a manipulation. It's like and I've had such, like, I feel like a lot of these instances, and I'm just discovering that right now, are sort of connected by that thought. Because let's be honest, when someone is just existing and going about their business while they are potentially hiding their true self because maybe they don't know how to access it, they are in fact like gaslighting
Mhm.
everybody around them because it's not true. The first thing that I was like, all right, well, everything happening on with politics right now, which I'm not going to get into, but the thing that bothers me the most, that really triggers me a lot, is the gaslighting.
Mhm.
All the messages that are meant to make somebody think a certain way, but it's actually a blatant lie, or it's so rampant that I'm like, and so that I was like, oh, and I got triggered by somebody in my circle who I care about very much, and I was like, when this person does this, what does it feel like? Oh, it feels like gaslighting. Like they don't take accountability of their actions. Like they're just always kind of like, it's like a tennis match. Like you never grab the ball. You're just like, boop, 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 boop.
Mhm.
And then I'm over here like, grab the fucking ball.
Right.
Like grow a pair of balls or ovaries,
Something.
something, and grab the ball, because the grabbing of the ball is like, oh, that's what's true. It's like, oh, the
Mhm.
pause you were talking about in your newsletter.
Mhm.
Think about it. It's like, oh, I grabbed it. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh.
Right.
Then I can be like, oh, dang.
Mhm.
I see it. I feel it. It's in my hands. And then that is what shifts you and grows you. You grow and you become more like transparent. And then it's like, okay, I see you in that new light. So I'm like, it feels infuriating, which is not the fair thing to say, but it feels infuriating when people don't grab that ball. And that's like almost everybody.
Yeah.
Where does this leave me?
I mean, I don't know. I've felt like this for a while now, and I think about it a lot. Um, and I try to stay neutral of like not making people wrong, not making people bad, not making myself wrong, not making myself bad, and just trying to understand. And it's almost like it's not easy. And I'm still not understanding it 100%. But I think there's almost like the visual I create, there's different tiers, different levels of relationships that I have with people. And I guess in my dreamy mind, I envision like I can have the deep, intimate relationships with all the peoples. Why is that not happening? And and then, so now I'm seeing where I might want to go there with somebody, but then I understand that's not where they're at, right?
Mhm.
They're not there. And it doesn't make them bad or wrong. It doesn't make me bad or wrong. I know that it's more of a I don't want to say surface level because that makes it sound fake and it's not. But it's just like I can't count on that person to hold anything with me. I can't have a depth with that person. So I know that's someone I'm checking in with, that's someone I'm doing some small talk with, sharing some
Mhm.
things with, but I'm not going there with them. And sometimes that makes me sad. Um, Especially when you see the potential in people.
Yeah.
Um, and I understand everybody is having their own life experiences, rinse and repeat. I get it. I know. It's just sad. It's just
Yeah.
sad, you know? It's like a relationship that doesn't work out and you're like, oh, if just this, if just that. But it's like everybody is having their own life experience. And so then I ask myself, well, why am I having this experience that's different than so many other people in my life?
Yeah. Yeah. What you said about the potential, I've been tossing around that that word in my head because it's so real. And I was like, I don't want to say that because it sounds like, but yes, it's exactly what it is. Um, People have this incredible potential, and it's all of this like if only.
Mhm.
Um, do you ever feel like you've like that aspect of you has intimidated other people?
Oh, without a doubt. I've had people say that to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, I have had
Ah.
people tell me, and
Hmm.
it's really uncomfortable, but I've had people tell me, something like if I am sharing my day with someone and they're sharing their day with me and they're like, what did you get? Like, what were you up to today? And then I'm like, oh, I did this. And then I go through my day and I've had people say, you make me feel so bad about myself. Like, you get so much done. You do like and then sometimes they'll want to say, you don't have to do all the time, which just
Hmm.
pisses me off
Hmm.
when
Oh my
it's
God,
like,
yes.
please don't tell me. Like, I understand healthy doing and I understand like doing because I'm trying to form some kind of value or validation around myself.
Yes.
I do because I want to.
That's part of what we worked on
Yes.
to know where the doing comes from,
Yeah.
the right channel and not the wrong channel, which was our
And
experience for a long time.
you are the only person in my life who's never shamed me for being a doer. You
Hmm.
called me a devoted doer, and it was so beautiful. And I have like held on to that because you saw my intention. You saw how I was showing up. You saw how I was in the doing and not from a look at me kind of way, but like, this is who I be.
Hmm.
Like, we're all different. We're all different. And to shame, I think there's a huge doing shame. I could go on a TED talk and I'm not gonna, don't worry. But like, I could go on a whole TED talk how doing is so shamed in our society. And I understand why. Don't get me wrong. I understand why. But then I think people just swing the pendulum over to not doing shit at all. Like, well, I'm not going to just do all the time. And it's like, well, you're not doing anything. So like, now
Hmm.
you're not doing nothing.
Real
Like,
talk.
I mean, so all of that is to say, yes, I have intimidated people by just being me. And then there's this piece where then I go back into myself and I go, what is my intention with what I chose to do today? Like, I start almost second guessing myself and I'm like, well, fuck that. Like, I'm very intentional. I I've also like had a life where I had to step into the doing. I was more of a mother to my mother than she was a mother to me. I was parenting my parent at a young age. I was a single mom at a young age. I didn't have the luxury to not do. So there's so much that, yes, it's part of my being and it's part of my life experience to like step in and go because I didn't have the privilege to not. So it sucks when people fucking shame you for stuff like that because it's like
Yeah.
you don't even understand where I come from and the things that are part of who I be. And that's why I try really hard to see someone and go, well, they're stuck in their shit. I've been stuck in my shit for decades of my life. And then that's why I see it so clearly. It's not coming from a place of judgment. It's like, fuck, I know where you are right now. Like, I get it because I've been there too. And it's again this full circle piece of like, when you come on the other side of something, you see it in a different way. And it's like, I'm not mad at the person for being there. It's more of like, I wish I could let you know there was a different way if
Yeah.
you just, and it's not my responsibility or job or like, right? So it's a
Yeah.
weird thing because I fully understand. I'm not wanting to like play with people like they're little dolls, like, oh, you're going to do this and then you're going to make this choice. It's not that. But when you are such a like open-hearted person and you love people and you're passionate
Mhm.
about like living your best life
Yeah.
because having my husband die so young. Like you really treasure life in a new way.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why I get so pumped up about like being my best self because I know this time on earth is so fucking fleeting.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like I don't want to wish that I would have done things differently. And so I think I get overexcited for other people, and maybe it comes off as being a dick or judgmental or whatever. And I'm not meaning it to be that way. It hurts my heart to see people in that place.
Yeah. Mm, amazing. Yeah. I'm so glad we went there again because all the way to the deep end. If there's anything you can count on, is that we'll splash in the shallow end and then we'll dive into the deep end and back again. That whole like intimidation thing is so real and it's been so real for me. I think early on I had a lot of like messaging around that, even when I was very little, because I was a girl who was always very capable.
Mhm.
And I think the optimism in me always made me try things. And I was very curious and I would try things and be, you know, naturally good at them, not naturally good at them, wherever, but I was capable
Yeah.
and I was smart and I was creative and I was charming and I was cute. And well, I am all of those things. Present,
I
present,
was
present
gonna
tense.
say,
I mean,
and
hello, duh. So I am very capable. I am very smart. I am very spiritual. I am beautiful. I am sexy. I am charming. Man, ooh, I've been working on owning that because I
yeah.
feel it like I own it myself, but then I almost feel like I put this sort of protection so that I don't make other people feel bad about themselves.
Mhm.
And ultimately it's like, well, I'm not doing it. I'm not going out there like, well, you suck and look at me.
Right, right.
Like I just
Me too.
I've like like put the brakes
Mhm.
on who I am so many times in my life, so many times to make people feel comfortable, to make people feel less like, oh, look at who does she think the classic? Who does she think she is? Like, you know what? I'm so tired of that because
Yeah.
I want to get more and more awesome. I want to
Mhm.
get sexier because the more I know myself, the sexier I become. I am getting wiser. I'm getting a beautiful, tougher skin.
Mhm.
I want the wrinkles and the gray hairs.
Mhm.
And I want to fucking walk around like I own the world because I own my world.
Yeah.
It's my shit. And boy, oh boy, because again, because I think doer, the sort of sacred, devoted doer definition is again, not that you're doing because you're trying to prove something.
Right.
We've been there. We
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
We've worked through that because we
Yeah.
knew that was not it.
Mhm.
It cost us a lot. So we shifted
Yeah.
and we probably pulled back and went into a period of like, I have no idea what I'm doing, nothing. And then we shifted gears again where we start being more of that devoted doer
Mhm. Yeah.
because we do want to create the things in our life that matter to us. And we are going to go the extra mile for ourselves. And we are going to dig deep and
Mhm.
show up for ourselves because I want to do cool shit.
Yeah.
And oh my God. So that I know triggers people to no end because they may not have the same willingness or the courage to actually go there and take the
Mhm.
risk. You know how many risks we have to take
So many.
to do shit in life?
We're
Can
still
we?
doing it right now. Our
Oh,
voice is a huge risk.
oh my God. We,
Yeah. Girl,
yeah,
I know. Me too.
like right now,
Like
it's
right now,
happening.
got risky behavior happening.
Like we're gonna publish this, and this is gonna be out in the world.
Yeah. And it's, for people to think whatever they want to think and feel whatever they want to feel. And it's like, I am no longer willing to not say the things I want to say because it might make someone uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because my intention is not to make anyone comfortable, but our wounds fucking get triggered.
Yes. And I think about this a lot with you specifically And it's because we reflect each this to each other. But I think to myself, how could it be possible that Sage doesn't think that she's enough? I know you think the same about me because
Yeah.
we've told each other this. And
Mhm.
in my mind, it just doesn't fit because I see all of it.
Mhm.
I see all of it. And I'm like, how is it possible that in this world, in this lifetime, this woman feels like she's not enough? Heck, I feel that too.
Mhm.
And so it's like, it doesn't compute. It just doesn't compute to me.
Yeah.
And I think because I also yearn that for other people
Mhm.
to feel that, to
Yeah.
know
For sure.
that. Man, I this got to be one of the cornerstones of this whole era of the dreamers shtick we got going on
Yeah, this thing.
to make to hopefully remind people or like throw them off the ledge so they can just like use their own fucking wings to know that we're enough.
I usually feel really good about myself until like I get on the internet
Mm,
or I go out into the world. And then I'm like, okay. Um, and that's to say that um recognizing when people say things to you, where is that thing coming from? It's coming from their own scarcity of something, it's coming from their own wound, right? And I don't know. I think I'm just more particular about who I surround myself with now, and I don't give myself away in the way that I used to.
yeah,
And that's a lot different too.
yeah,
And I do live a quieter, more peaceful life by being really picky and choosy about who I give myself to. And it was different. There was a time where I was just like, oh, here, here, here,
mm-hmm,
here, here, here,
mm-hmm,
take me, until I was so full of holes, I couldn't even function. I'm just like, oh, everybody's taking so much. Who am
yeah,
I? And now I'm like, oh no, you're not taking a bite out of me. No,
mm-hmm.
thank you.
Yeah, that's the trying to be enough, which you'll never achieve
Right.
with the I'm going to let everybody dictate where, because I'm trying to fill that enough barometer. And then
Yeah.
when you're like, get closer to like, oh, I am
Hmm.
actually inherently enough. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm like far from, it's not about perfection. It's not about, oh, I've done all the things. No, it's just like, there is enough here.
Yeah.
And it's just it's like a different frequency. It's like
Hmm.
even hard to describe. And it is possible through just trudging through the mud of slowly like, oh, letting go of that and
Yeah.
self-reflecting and all the all of it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of that curtain that we're like, oh, you're either, the person you show yourself in front of the curtain versus behind the curtain is different. Maybe that curtain is like their enough wound.
Hmm.
As long as I don't feel enough, I can't possibly show my true self to
Yeah.
anybody.
Right.
Or maybe to a couple of people, but then is it really, really true?
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot to ponder here.
I'm just hoping we don't go back into the deep end this weekend. I don't think
Oh,
so. I can't. I don't, I need a break.
no. I want to go
No,
out.
this is the aftermath. This is the after
Yeah,
sifting through yeah.
it is. It is.
Hmm.
Well,
Well,
we traveled many, many lands in this episode.
well. We sure
Well,
did.
well.
We sure diddly did.
well.
Well then, thank you for listening, for hanging out, for exploring with us, for having the willingness to tap into these waters
Hmm.
and help us out by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Sharing's probably the best way.
Yeah,
Word of mouth.
yeah.
Word of mouth. It's the best medicine. So if you have somebody in your heart that is like, oh, they could really benefit from this conversation,
Mhm.
just pass it on.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing so. Any last words, my friend?
Um, yeah, thank you for being a part of this. You are a part of this, even though you
Hmm.
are not sitting here with MA and I, you are. You are.
Yeah, we wouldn't
Um,
be evoking all of this if it wasn't for
no.
who's we're connecting to out there. It just
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Mm-mm.
That's not how energy works.
No, no, and it's not that's not win-win energy for us. Like
Mm-mm.
we love the
Hmm.
interactions and the so my parting words are we'd love to or we would love to hear what's on your heart. Like
Yeah.
even if you don't feel comfortable publicly sharing, like message one of us. We always share. So let us know what's on your heart. Like what's coming up for you. What's this conversation like stirring up inside of you? Like we genuinely want to know.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yes.
That's
And on
I
that, beautiful friends, we will see you next time on Era of the Dreamers, 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 Dreamers,
dream,
Dreamers,
dream, dream, dream.
Dream. Bye.